So we all have been betrayed.
Yes, by someone or something very unexpected.
So as you all know, Hollywood makes some pretty bad movies out there.
Yeah, and today is our top 5 worst books and movie adaptations that we have ever seen. Welcome to the Point of View podcast. My name's Yosa.
And my name's Osatohamen.
And here we are today for another episode.
Yeah, we're so excited to be here again.
Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about our top 5 worst books and movie adaptations that we've ever seen, because there are a lot that are really good and there are a few that are pretty bad. So
yeah, I think we wanted to switch it up this time. I think we wanted to start with, do we want to start with number 5 or do we want to start with number 1?
probably, I feel like we should go from like
5 to 1?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is number 5 is the Percy Jackson movies. And if no one knows what like Percy Jackson is, I feel so bad for you. But
I feel like everyone's at least heard of it.
Yeah, that's true, especially now with the Disney show.
Yeah.
So we actually like enjoyed this movie, but in terms of just like how close it was to the book, yeah, it was done pretty badly.
Okay, I'll be honest. I'm a huge fan of the movies. Like, I've rewatched them to this day. I still like them. Like,
love the actors.
Yeah, like Logan Lerman. I think Anna Daddario. I can't remember her name. The girl she plays.
Is her last name Daddario?
Yeah, she's related to the Matthew Daddario.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I like know him from Shadowhunters.
Yeah, she's related. Oh, what's her name? That should be.
Shadowhunters the show.
Yeah, but like that, I think that's her brother, her cousin. I can't remember.
Oh, interesting.
And so, like, honestly, the acting was pretty good. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest. And like the storyline was very off. Like, the characters were like 4 years older than they were in like the books. Like, they're supposed to be 12 and they're like 16. And like some of the characters are different. People have different names, and I'm like, obviously, as a kid, you're not really thinking about the book, but like watching it now, you're like, it really wasn't. It wasn't close.
It wasn't close, but they did a really good job. I feel like they should have ended, with movies, because it was only 2 movies, right?
Yeah, they only did the first 2.
Should have done a 3rd movie, I think.
Yeah, I think because the movies did pretty well too. Mm-hmm. I think the reason they stopped was like Rick Riordan didn't want them making. He was movies.
Like, this isn't close enough to the adaptation,
which it is valid. I get it. It's like your book, you want it to be right, but like,
I mean, like, kudos to him, because a lot of people would be like, oh, the money and all that, but for him it was like, no, it's like, this is my story, this is my art, like, let me make sure that it's good.
But I know I know a lot of people love like the Lotus scene. I don't know if people have heard of that.
With Lady Gaga's song.
Like Poker Face, like great scene. Like, the acting's perfect. Like, if you can separate the movie from the book, it's perfect. But like, if you're looking for like an accurate book to movie adaptation, it's not for you.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, as a kid, it was like, I don't know, when we were kids, we used to watch and rewatch a lot of movies, and the Percy Jackson movies were definitely on the list, because the first time I ever read the Lightning Thief, which is the first book in the series, I think I was in 6th grade. And like, I saw it, and like the cover is like kind of weird, and it wasn't normally something I would read. Yeah. And I had read the Red Pyramid series like years ago.
And by the same author, right?
By the same author. And I didn't even, like, I saw the Lightning Thief, but I was like, this cover sucks, I'm not reading this. But then one day I was like, let me read it. And like, I just binged the whole thing. It was so good. And so when I found out there was movies, I was like, I think I got all our siblings. I was like, let's watch it. And such a good movie, like, in terms of just like quality, which is surprising, because sometimes, especially some of the ones on our list, they do such a bad job.
I think their budget was pretty good for the movie, because the CGI and stuff, like, I think the movie came out 2013,
something like that. Yeah.
You would think like, oh, and not like huge movie that, like, when you think of like Twilight and all these other movies that like were big books, but like the movie didn't have great budget. Like, they did a pretty good job. Like, honestly, to this day, I'm still like, dang, those special effects are like pretty good.
Like the dragon, like it's not a dragon, but like three-headed.
Yeah, and like the water scene where he's like
Yeah.
controlling. I'm like, hey, this is pretty good for like 2014.
It was. So in terms of just like on our list, this is probably the best movie that they produced. Like in terms of like the film.
Yeah.
But it was not accurate, so we still had to
all.
put it on the list.
All right, should we jump into our little list?
Our list, some of the actual worst.
Actually horrible movies.
So the first one, or the second one, I guess, on our list is called City of Bones. And if you don't know what that movie is, it is the Mortal Instruments, which is a book series, like fantasy book series. And they made a movie for it. And I was like looking at reviews, and this movie, like, I guess had the potential to be a huge movie. Like, I guess it had some pretty big producers, and it had like, I don't know, like it was on, it was going to be the trajectory of, I think, like Percy Jackson, because the book was on that scale. Like the Mortal Instruments series, like is like, I would say on the same level as Divergent, Hunger Games, like Percy Jackson, like, or the Lightning Thief, whatever you want to call it. Like in terms of like just sell and just like popularity, the Mortal Instruments is absolutely like up there. And so this movie had the potential to be so good, but it was not. It was
cringe.
It was so bad. Like Clary, which is the main girl, like she was like weird in it, and like the guy that was Jace, like the main guy, he was like if you read the books, like Jace has this kind of aura and this demeanor about him, and like the movie actor or whatever, like very attractive guy, but he was the opposite.
He was kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes I'm like, yeah, you're pissing me off, bro.
But I feel like Jace in the books would make you mad too.
Probably, but like,
I get what you mean. Like it was a different type of annoyance, and so this movie, just like the story was off. Like the way the mom disappeared was weird. Like it was just like things were not lining up at all. Like they did a terrible job in just adapting this movie.
Yeah, and honestly, I watched the movie too, and like, it isn't bad if you're just watching the movie, but honestly, some of the acting was like kind of weird. Like the characters weren't what you would expect if you like read the book, and I feel like it isn't like one of those movies where you're like, oh, that was a pretty good movie that I watched. Like if I hadn't read the book, I would still been like, it was an okay movie. Like, I wouldn't watch it again, but it's a movie.
No, I agree. And I think the casting wasn't done well in just terms of like who they picked. Like the actors themselves, I mean, there was some cringe acting, but they weren't necessarily bad. But I think what was the issue was that it just didn't fit the persona of what the book characters were supposed to be. Like I think Isabel and Magnus Bane and why am I forgetting his name? Alec. I was thinking of Matthew Daddario.
Matt.
That's literally the name that came in my head because we were just talking about him earlier.
Yeah, but literally, like this, I feel like it's so important to get characters right in adaptations, because I know a lot of people lately have just been mad. They're like, oh, like people just shouldn't make adaptations anymore. I don't know why they do. It's like you already have a movie, now you're just making like a live of it, especially when it's like a cartoon. And I'm like, I think people are more just upset about the fact that they don't like the actors that are being put for characters that they've loved for so long. Like I know what is it called? The new Hunger Games book, the Sunrise on the Reaping.
Yeah.
Like people are like, if they better not screw up the Haymitch actor, like don't screw up the actor, because then people will be so upset. Like, because they did really well with Snow in the Ballads of the Songbirds and the Snakes one. So it's like you have to like be really good with casting, because if not, that can make or break a movie. Like literally.
And I don't think it's necessarily like, I mean, I know for some people it's like, oh, it's about physical appearance. For me, it's more so like demeanor. Like
it's like, can you play the actual character?
Like how is the actor playing the character in the book? Like do you get that same vibe? Because if you don't get that, it doesn't matter if they're a carbon copy. It doesn't matter if the author was like, I use this actor as my reference. If they can't portray that character that they were describing, it doesn't work.
That's why, like, when you've seen, like, the Marvel movies, a lot of those actors, when they first, like, RDJ was casted, but, like, Tom Cruise and, like, other people were, like, vying for the job, but it's like they didn't get it because it wasn't like, oh, we don't need some brunette bulk guy to just be like, I'm Iron Man. We need someone to play Iron Man and Tony Stark. Like, you need to be able to portray the characters correctly, and it really does take away from the movie if it's not done well.
And funny enough, you bring up RDJ because, like, if you ever see, like, interviews of him and just, like, the way he acts, he really does act like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like, his mannerism is Tony Stark,
like
which
he
is
is
so
him.
funny. And that means that the casting was done so well because, like, I mean, yes, it's obviously acting, but it's, like, that means that he is able to, like, he's just, you know, like, naturally that kind of actor or that kind of person and that kind of, you know, I have a lot of pride for myself, which is good. I mean, you always want to be, you know, proud of yourself. And so I love when movies are done. You know, a movie is done well when they can capture the demeanor and the vibe and just, like, the aura of a character.
Sure. Yeah, but that 100% true. Like, you have to be able to not just act well, but act like the character you're playing. But for the next movie that I had, this movie came out literally last year, or maybe not even up to a year ago on Netflix.
Was it 2023?
No, it was 2024.
Okay.
But it might have been the summer, maybe, or like early like August, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So this movie called The Uglies came out on Netflix, like I said, probably 8 or 9 months ago. And the reason, like, people knew about this movie is because Chase Stokes from Outer Banks was in it. What's her name? Joey King,
yeah,
was like the main character.
But I don't know if that's necessarily why people knew about it. People read
the book.
People read the books as kids. Like, if you're around our age, Yosa and I'm 22, she's 17. Like, a lot of people around our age, a few years older, a few years younger, read that book growing up. And so I
think people had heard of the book.
Yeah.
But, like, when they came out with the poster, little sidetrack, because it's called Ugly, so obviously, like, the people in the movie are, like, ugly, or some of the people are. When the poster came out, it was, like, Chase Stokes, Joey King, and this guy named Keith Powers, who's actually probably the most attractive casting out of all of them. And then there was a couple other characters. And, you know, it's like a poster, so they put all the characters there, and someone goes, like, wow, the cast really is ugly. I think it was, like, a tweet or something. I saw it on TikTok.
Crazy.
I was like, oh, wow. And I'm like, they're not actually that ugly. That was really...
No, like, those... I mean, I don't know about the other people, but...
Yeah, I
can't remember their faces, but Joey King, for sure, is very pretty.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't think, like, oh, like, that cast is ugly. Because I think... Also, it's the way they made them look in the
which
poster.
Which is what you want... Like, I think... I don't know, maybe... I'm sure there's people that are very artistically, like... sound, but it's like they were trying to make a contrast, you know, like you see the word ugly or uglies on the cover, but then, like, some of the most attractive A-list celebrities out there are ugly, and so that causes that contrast, and it's like a good marketing thing.
It was so funny. I was like, they're like, yep, the cast really is ugly. It's like, but anyway, so, like, little, like, rundown. The story's about this girl named Tally. They live in, like, this dystopian world where everyone starts out ugly, but then the second you turn 16, you basically get a procedure, basically like plastic surgery, where you become pretty, like, you become glamorized and pretty. But the thing is, like, that people start realizing is it changes your personality. Like, they change who you are. They basically just make you into soldiers that, like, believe all the same things, and they just do whatever the government that's running it wants. And so, like, this girl Tally, like, she's you know, she has this best friend Paris, who is then transformed because he turned 16. So she's vying and just waiting. She's like, I can't wait to be pretty, because, like, that's what everyone wants or whatever. And then, like, he goes off, and then she meets this girl who talks about this guy named David, who's a part of, like, this resistance of, like, oh, we never became pretty, like, we're different. They live in, like, the forest or whatever. And so she's like, no, like, I can't do this with you, like, I want to be pretty. That friend runs off, and so the government people basically take Tally, and they're like, okay, you need to go after your friend, and we'll make you pretty immediately, because her 16th birthday isn't for another 3 months.
Mm.
And then I think by that time it's only a couple like days away. But then they're like, okay, if you don't find her, then you don't become pretty. So obviously she's like, all right, like let me go find my friend. Until she finds her. But of course, like the David guy is there, and the resistance, and like the whole story goes along with, like, that's kind of the gist. And so honestly, storyline wise, it was pretty close from what I remember. I'm sure other people had some things to say. Like, obviously there were things here and there. My problem with the movie is like the pretty people, like when you were pretty, you would think like, okay, like nice hair and like makeup and everything. But like the CGI they put on their face when they were pretty, it literally looked like the bold glamour filter on TikTok. People were like, "Oh, bold glamour!" Like, "Oh, this is a TikTok filter."
For real?
Yes, I'll show it to you after. Or maybe we'll put up a photo here. It looked so like bad, which I know like, oh, it's supposed to be dystopian because they're not actually pretty, but it's like. It was it was horrible. And then
not the bold. Oh, okay. That
so
I can't get over the bold, because remember when you and I put on the bold filter, and we both looked like men.
Yeah, I literally looked horrible. Like I had perfect skin. I was like chiseled. I was like,
yeah, no, it's like chiseled.
Like that's how it looked. Except it just looked like she had a pound of like foundation on. Her hair was like 5 shades lighter.
Why did they use normal makeup? Like what
That's
they should have done is they should have used the CGI to make them look ugly.
Exactly. And they didn't. The thing is, they didn't use CGI to make them look ugly. They just used their natural
selves and then said they were ugly.
Like she had like curlier hair or whatever, but like she looked like Joey King, and so that's why people are mad. They're like, they're not even ugly. And then of course there's this guy Keith Powers, who is literally gorgeous in the movie. And they're like, oh, this David guy is ugly, and like he's a part of the ugly people. And I know like the point of the movie is like you're supposed to find the beauty within. But like in the book, the way they describe them is like they had like broken noses, and like their face wasn't like perfect. Like they had freckles, and they're like dysmorphed. They had scars here, scars that.
But interesting because I actually haven't read this book or watched this movie. But I think that in a way, like as you were talking, I was like, is that not like a reflection of our world though?
Yeah.
Like we are perceiving like beauty as this, plastic surgery, fillers, Botox, doing all these kind of things. But then like the normal thing is like, oh, like have you seen that girl on TikTok that basically said I did my wedding and I didn't wear any makeup. Yeah. And people were hating on her for not wearing makeup. They're like, oh, you look terrible.
I don't get
Why
that.
aren't you wearing makeup? So like, is that not kind of like what we're seeing?
That's like, the point of the movie.
Exactly. But in the book, you're like broken noses. How many people have broken noses? How many people have freckles? Yeah. But that is now perceived as not beautiful.
Yeah. And I think like, I never finished the series. At the end of the series, the point is like, the uglies are actually just normal looking people, which is also like why the pretty filter thing, I think they meant it to look really bad.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it looked too much like a TikTok that I was like, stop, bro. This looks like something I could make on CapCut, like with probably a couple $1 million budget movie. And you're like, yeah, let me put like slap a filter on.
What they should have done is they should have made it, well, I guess if they did well, but it's weird because like they're trying like what you said, if it was a good adaptation in terms of like how accurate it was to the book, because what you're saying is they look normal, so they didn't put a filter, but then they put a plastic surgery filter when they became beautiful. Is that not what the book did? But they didn't do a very good job, I guess, with the CGI.
Yeah, but I think people were just upset with the movie because like a couple things veered off, like storyline, of course,
always,
and it was just I just think people don't like Joey King.
Like, which is so weird.
They saw like that she was the main character. And I like her as an actor, but I feel like, again, with like the demeanor, she didn't play the character that I imagined Tally as. She still did a great job. And Chase Stokes in that movie, it was weird. I don't know. Like because they're like best friends, right? And then he like goes off and becomes like a pretty soldier. I don't know. Something was just off about the actors. The only actor that was good was like the David guy. Like Keith Powers is his name. Like that was
I always
the
support
only guy
Joey King. Like, I don't know. Like, that's something I've noticed with,
It's because
like,
we're glam bot. But actually, people hated her before that. Like, it was like her kissing booth era.
Wait, it was me that showed you guys that glam bot thing, right?
Yeah, but I think that was like 2017,
No,
2018.
that was like 3 years ago.
Oh, that's recent.
It's like 2 or 3 years ago.
That's worse. I thought she was like 18 or something or so. Oh, wow, that's worse.
It was so bad.
Wow.
No, I think I saw it at like 2 a.m. one day, and I could not stop laughing. Like, I was dying. And obviously it's night, everyone's sleeping, so I'm like...
Wait, we didn't even do it right. Doesn't she wink? She's like... And like, how's it? Oh gosh, I thought that was old. I didn't realize it was only like 2 or 3 years ago.
No, maybe 4, but it was not.
That's a lot more recent than I thought.
It's not old.
Wow,
I mean, glam bots only became really big when that Cole, whatever his name is, started it like 4 years ago or something like that.
I know. Yeah, I know they did it before, but it wasn't.
Did they?
Like, or I think so.
I don't remember.
I've seen old glam bot, not old, but I'm saying like maybe 2019, maybe for like a different event or something, or maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I don't know. I know glam bots just like in the past few years it became like the
for
trend.
some reason I thought she was like really young, so I was like, oh, maybe she didn't know what to do, like, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't her first glam bot either.
I think she was trying to be quirky, and she's like that's why I don't know. That's my problem with Hollywood, and kind of like what this Uglies movie even kind of. I mean, the adaptation necessarily wasn't good because they messed up like the CGI, but like the story is so true. Like there's something I've seen in what people have been talking about, like looking at old award shows, and they were like, old award shows used to be so fun because you got to see all these celebrities and they were so different. They had different hair, they had different body types. Well, I mean, not necessarily like super different body types, but just like the way they dressed, the way they acted. Some were funny, some were quirky. But now it's become, let me all condense into this one kind of persona.
Yeah.
Let me make sure my lips look exactly the same. My whole body looks exactly the same. Blonde hair, like perfect, like just everything has to be exactly the same. I literally
just saw a video. They're like 2016 core, and it was like Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner, Zendaya, Gigi Hadid, all these people, they just looked so naturally. Again, like makeup's different now, the way people are doing it, but the makeup they were doing, it brought out their natural beauty.
Okay, adding Kylie Jenner on that list is insane.
I'm not gonna say natural, but like she has what, blonde hair now? Or she had blonde hair, right?
They've always been black hair.
No, Kim had blonde hair.
Oh, maybe.
But like it was just like they looked so, I mean, like, I know they've had plastic surgery and stuff done, but they just looked like the makeup wasn't too much. Like, their outfits were just, like, normal. It was, like, everyone, like you're saying, everyone was different. Everyone just looked so, like, beautiful. But now it just seems like we're all trying so hard to achieve exactly this image, whatever it is, X image. It's like we all want to look like this.
It doesn't look good. I'm sorry. Maybe that's, like, last episode hot take, but... everything,
like Ariana
like
Grande,
too much plastic surgery, the lip filler, the Botox, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't.
And if you are getting a lip filler, don't make it too much. Like, because there's a couple of people who've gotten lip fillers where I'm like, it looks natural enough, but other people it's just like
because they have such tiny lips,
is like busted, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, we know you got a lip job and it looks weird, like the whole, and then someone,
bro, do you think people think I got my lips done? We literally get.
Oh, no, we're black. So.
I know, but like
our lips are just naturally bigger.
The way the comments like hate on us on YouTube, it's only YouTube. I don't know why. YouTube people hate us, but they literally like always comment on our lips. It's just so...
I've had a lot of people comment on my lips and smile. Like I get
in real life.
Yeah, like I get a lot of. They're like, "Oh, you have beautiful lips." Like women, obviously, not men. Actually, there are people I mean, like people would tell me I have a beautiful smile.
Yeah,
but the ones that tell me
smile.
When people tell me like,
lips.
"Oh, you have beautiful lips," like I've gotten that a couple times.
I don't think I've ever gotten that.
What? I don't know why. It was like I was like working as a life coach. She's like, "Oh, you have beautiful lips." And I was like, "Thank you." Like,
that's interesting. Oh my gosh. let's move on. Okay, so for my next movie, it's a book series called Fallen, and they made a movie back in like this was like if you think about this was like the tens, like the 2010
Yeah,
era.
all the movies and books then were
Yeah.
just
This movie was terrible. And funny enough, I actually watched this with our mom.
Oh, I remember that because she was saying how weird it was.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
I don't
her
even
talking about the
remember
movie.
why I watched it with her. I think I was like, "Mom, let's watch a movie," and so like I picked Fallen.
The trauma our poor mom had to go through watching that movie.
She's like, "What is my daughter reading?" But it follows this girl, and she is accused of a crime that she didn't actually commit, and so she's sent off to the school for delinquents and troubled kids. And her whole life, she's been seeing these shadows and everything. And basically, it's discovered that there's this whole like I saw this video of someone saying this, so I'm going to use it. It's like Bible fanfic.
Yeah, basically.
Because it's basically there's this, the war in heaven, and so they kind of took that and like made it into this whole thing. So basically the main guy, he has to pick between which side he was going to join, God or Satan or the equivalent.
Lucifer, yeah, whatever.
Equivalent in this book or movie. And he doesn't pick any of them. He picks love. And so that's like a whole thing. And so like this movie was just the CGI terrible. Like acting terrible.
Also terrible.
Like did they follow the plot really?
Yeah, I feel like it's the movies that follow the plot that just suck.
Yeah.
And then it's like the movies that are completely off the rails. You're like, that was a really good movie.
It was a really good movie.
Like,
yeah. So it followed the plot. Not that bad to an extent, but it was just it was such a like I saw someone say this. They said that like just the costume was just terrible, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
true.
Don't they have like wings in some scenes, and it looks a little fun because they're supposed to be like angels, right? From like, or I know the main guy's an angel at least.
Yeah, like I don't want to spoil it because it's like, yeah, he's an angel. I think that's said in the first movie.
Yeah.
He's an angel. You understand all the nuances. It's actually such a good book series. If you've never read the Fallen book series, it's like I read it years ago. Such a good book series. I kind of want to reread it again, but sometimes it's hard
Just
for me.
Don't watch the movie again.
No, sometimes it's hard for me to reread some of those kind of like very like YA fantasy because it's like
it's made for like
it's very YA fantasy,
like 13 14-year-old girls, and you're like years later you're like, oh yeah, this is
Twilight.
One book that will not be that way is Hunger Games.
No, I'm gonna reread that book very soon because
I started it, so I'm like it's good.
That book is just, especially with everything that's going on in our world,
perfect.
I
love
immaculate.
Susan Collins. So my second or my last one, I guess, is not a movie, but I'm sure most of you on Netflix or saw it on TikTok, is the new Shadow and Bone show that actually got canceled.
It's not new. It's
like 2022 because it has 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So the second season came out late 2023, and so actually got canceled like a couple months ago, maybe a year ago.
So mad.
I mean, people weren't surprised though. Like
people were like, the comment section because I follow Netflix on Instagram, and never have I seen for months the comments were like, bring back Shadow and Bone. Like that's all I saw. Like for months. People
thought it was gonna get canceled because I think they wasn't getting as much viewership as Netflix thought it would get.
I feel like it did though. Like my boss was watching it.
Like it got a lot of viewership.
I was like, you're watching
but like
that?
you have to think it's like a fantasy. Imagine how much editing, CGI,
it's a lot of money.
Money went into it. So they probably thought, they looked at the numbers like, okay, there's a lot of people watching this, but this is not nearly enough.
They should have picked another book, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, they should have picked like a realistic
the selection.
Fiction.
We have been waiting for like 10 years.
Netflix was also supposed to do that movie.
I heard it got canceled because of COVID though.
I don't know, maybe.
Because it was supposed to come out, they were in the talks about it in 2020, and then I think COVID and the writer's strike.
Oh yeah,
literally
that probably just pushed everything.
Got
I know they had a script though. They had a script, so
did.
who knows where it went. But the Shadow and Bone show, because I read all 3 of the books, it's a 3-book series. It follows like this girl, Alina, who lives in like kind of like this village. She's grown up with her best friend Mal. They live in poverty because there's basically ranks of like you're either like the lower level people, you're the guards, or you're these people that have magical powers that can control darkness and can heal people and can craft faces and makeup and like basically like plastic surgery, or you're strong and you can fight. And it's like there's this hierarchy of people. And so while she's like on a carriage one day, she's like she discovers that she has this light magic, like this light power, which has never been seen before. Like there's multiple people that can heal, there's multiple people that have water magic, there's multiple people that have air, whatever it is, but she's the only person ever in the history that's ever been seen with light magic. And so this Darkling, who's the only guy that's ever had dark, I know, I like saw the name when I was reading up, I was like, how did I read that with this, like the Darkling?
I don't know. Sometimes you reread things. You're like, how?
Oh, it's like, oh gosh, how did I not laugh at that?
So
but
cringe.
Like this Darkling is also one of a kind. It's like they're the only ones with light and dark, and so he kind of takes her under his wing, and he's like, I'm gonna teach you how to use your magic and this and this. And so the storyline goes on. I'll let you guys read it or watch it or part of it because it got canceled. But the reason I didn't like the show is because first of all, it combined with like another like spin-off series by the same author, and it's part of like the same world. So it's like I'm trying to, like The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, where it's like it's not exactly the same timeline, but it's the same author, same world building and stuff. And so people would have thought, oh, they'll do Shadow and Bone, and then this series called Six of Crows, but they combined it into one, and they made the characters.
And they didn't say anything, too.
Yeah.
And, like, when you look at the synopsis, like, it's like, it doesn't say anything about that. And so that made me so mad. So I never actually finished the show. I think I watched, like, 2 episodes, and I was furious because I'm like, one, why did they add this random series? I mean, yes, I know it's by the same author, but it's called Shadow and Bone, not Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows.
I think people were starting to like change the name. They're like Shadow and Bone / Six of Crows or something. Like when they would post on TikTok.
That's so stupid. And so I was upset because I kept seeing like, I think the guy's name is Kaz or something like that.
Yeah, Kaz.
And like all of these things, I'm like, why are you here? Who is this? And so because of that, I actually didn't finish the show. I'm like, that made me mad. You can't just combine stories.
And it's like the characters met and it was they worked together.
Oh my
and I was like,
they don't do that.
It's 2 separate series that take place different time, or I think they take place at similar times, but they're like
I think they were different continents.
Yeah, cross continents. Like they're not anywhere near each other. They don't even know each other actually. So I was like, why are they here? Like. But I mean, for the most part, the CGI and the acting was really good. I feel like they got pretty good actors. They got pretty good, like, people that could play.
Budget. I mean, Netflix
it was a good
really
budget.
tried to push it out there, but
yeah, they did a really good job.
They should have combined it with Six of Crows. I feel like if they didn't do that, it would have. If they had, like, that's the thing. If you stick to the script, which
people
is
will
the
be happy.
book, people will be happy because like they're like. I've always been so annoyed by these producers of book to movie adaptations. I mean, maybe there's something going on in the higher end and they have to change things, but I'm like, use an example of Harry Potter. How many movies or how many books series have 8 movies? Every single one of their books has a movie.
And they stuck to the script at least 85%.
Yes, they stuck. I mean, obviously, there's things you can't do.
Yeah, like the color of his eyes or
like,
this one character.
But the majority of it is the script, which is the book. And so I'm like, you see how successful the Harry Potter movies are. You see how successful 20 years later they are. That is literally the carbon copy of what you should be copying. But instead, you combine this random this random series that's by the same author, and we're like, oh, it's gonna do as well as Harry Potter. No, it's not, because Harry Potter didn't combine with another one of J.
He combined with what's it called, Fantastic Beasts, like the other series. Like
Like,
that takes place 20 years before. Yeah, let them meet their great grandparents. Like, no.
And so I'm just like, it makes me so upset. And like, that's why honestly, some of these movies, they did stick to the script, but they didn't have like the budget.
Or they didn't have great actors or
No,
whatever.
they didn't have great actors. But I feel like, especially like a company like Netflix and Prime, that are like really trying to push out these like book to movie adaptations. I really
and
hope
Disney Plus, like they have the money.
they have the money. Stick to the script. Stick to the book.
Please.
And they don't understand that the people that bought the books, people buy the books with their own money, right? Those are the same people that are going to watch the movies. Like,
Yeah.
It's not going to be someone else. I mean, yes,
like
you're going to get more audience.
Maybe if I saw Shadow and Bone, I would look at it, but like probably not. Like
No.
it looks kind of weird, and it's like, oh, that's something like a 15-year-old would watch. So let me like skip past it. But if you've read the book, you know the name.
You're going to watch it.
Like, oh, what's this? Let me click on it.
Exactly. Like, so yeah, it's my biggest annoyance.
Yeah, they need. I'm sure. Like, there's people that are fighting for it, and I'm sure there's some things that like they change because they think it'll do well, and then it doesn't. But we'll never know.
We'll never know
unless I become a director or something, and then I'll fix it.
And then you have all this oversight, and then you can't. I mean, I don't think it's the author's fault. I don't think it's necessarily even like the medium people. I think it's the higher ups, and they make decisions that never work out for them. You know. But who are we? We're just the nobodies.
Just two girls that I don't know.
That just watch movies
and read books, but
yeah, no, like there's so many good book to movie adaptations, and there's so many bad. But these were our 5 worst ones I think we've seen. There's some movies out there like that we've just never seen because we're like, this looks bad. This cover looks bad.
I just know. Like,
I just know.
I'm not touching it.
I'm not touching that. But thanks so much for tuning in and listening to our top 5 worst movie to book to movie adaptations. Make sure to follow us on all our social media, and make sure to subscribe to this video and turn on post notifications so you know that we are posting every single Monday, and we also post twice a week, or we twice a day, 6 days a week. We can't wait to see you guys next week, and hope you have a good day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.